As a matter of fact, don't turn there, but if you read Psalms 42, verse 5, 6, and 11, or chapter 43, verse 2 and 5, David expresses how many times he needed his soul to be restored. This is a king, a man that was anointed, the man that would just hear from God in such a powerful way, lead the nation. But yet he declares in so many verses how he needed his soul to be restored. This king, this mighty man, he needed his soul to be restored. He would use this term quite often, cast down. When he's talked about those points in Psalms where he needed his soul restored, he would ask the same question over and over. Why are you cast down, O my soul? David would say. King of Israel, anointed man of God, slain thousands of armies, thousands in hundreds of armies, and he would ask the question, why are you cast down, O my soul? You see, David had tasted defeat in his life. He felt frustration of the temptation he fell under. David knew what it felt like to feel a sense of hopelessness and feeling of lack of strength to get up. Many times throughout his leadership, he needed his soul to be restored. Let me explain to you the term cast down, where it originated from and why David said it so often. It's an old shepherd's term. And what it meant was when a sheep will lie down, sometimes the fleece became so heavy that it will roll on its back. And when a sheep rolled on its back, most times, often, the majority of times, it wouldn't be able to get back on its feet. So many times it would die unless it's rescued. But that's what it means when a sheep rolls over on its back, it means you're cast down. I believe that there's people here right now, you have a feeling of helplessness and frustration to the point of you wanting to give up. I believe there's people here this morning, you're feeling frustrated, you're discouraged, you feel hopeless and helpless. You feel like God has abandoned you. You feel like God is not listening to you, and your soul is cast down. If you're cast down this morning, church, if you feel like quitting or giving up on your marriage, on your job, on your friends, on your walk with the Lord, if you feel like God has abandoned you, if you feel like, man, you're wondering if your marriage is going to last, whether you're going to be able to keep your job or not, whether you even want to go to work or not, whether you want to live or not. If that is you, you've come to the right place this morning, because it is God who restores our soul. It is God that lifts our heads. God is the soul restorer, if there is such a word. It is God who lifts our head. He is a shepherd that can bring us back to our feet, church. He will restore that which the enemy has stole from us. He's the restorer of our soul. That's why David could say, God, you restore my soul. You restore my soul. David had tons of disappointments, but he learned that in times of frustration, God can restore his soul. Our God delights in it, church. Our God delights in restoring his sheep. He delights in bringing us back and restoring us back to our feet and restoring us back to the flock. He enjoys it. Matthew 11:28 says, come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. If you come to me, for my yoke is easy and my burden is light. We will find rest for our souls when we go to the soul restorer. Church, I really believe with all my heart that this morning God can restore your soul. God can restore that frustration. He can restore you from that frustration and disappointment you feel. He has for me, church. You see, when the shepherd finds the sheep cast down, this is what the shepherd does. Remember, we're looking at it through David's eyes. And David had done this probably hundreds of times, maybe dozens, I don't know. But when he's seen his sheep cast down, this is what he would do. And this is when he said, this is why he said what he says. But what the shepherd would do, it will gently roll the sheep to its side. He will gently, not just go over there and come on, you dumb sheep, get up, go, walk. You know, he's not, you know, that's the image we have of God. Come on, you dumb sheep, go and kick it, you know what I mean? No, what a shepherd does is he goes and he gently rolls it back to his side. And then it begins to talk to it in a tone of voice that combines tenderness and rebuke and compassion and correction. It begins to talk to the sheep in tender gentleness. Then what it'll do, it will stroke the sheep's head. It will begin to just stroke the sheep's head. And after some time of calming down the sheep, and after the shepherd sees that the fear and anxiety in the sheep is gone. Once he, you know, because the sheep is all just in panic mode and it has fear and anxiety, rolled it to the side, began to talk to it and began to stroke its head. And once the shepherd noticed that the anxiety is gone and that the fear is gone, the shepherd will start massaging the legs of the sheep to start getting the blood circulating through them again. Softly talking, it starts massaging its legs so that the blood can start running through it again. Then the shepherd will turn the sheep over from being cast down so that the sheep can join the rest of the flock. And that is what David means when he says, God, you restore my soul. Is that what he means? We've got to get the image out of our head, church, that even if we've blown it, even if we've gone into a comfort zone, even if it's our own fault that we're cast down, that he's not here to slam us, cut our throats, kick us out, you know, cut us up and barbecue us. He's not doing that. The Bible says he'll leave the 99 to go after the one. The Bible says that the prodigal son story, that even though he blew it, even though the son blew it, even though he went and he spent all his money and exhausted all his resources, that when he came back to the father, after he basically slapped the father in the face and embarrassed him, that when the father seen him afar off, he didn't walk towards his son. He ran towards his son to go and greet him and kiss him and welcome him back to the family of God. Church, if your soul is cast down and you feel like giving up and you feel like just forgetting everything, don't you do it. Don't you do that. God can restore. He will restore your soul. When we need restoration, when we've blown it, when we failed him, he doesn't have this giant whip. God is ready to restore our soul. Everybody say, restore my soul.